I will go through sprints where like I'm work is the priority,
Yeah.
and like we're hammering on these projects and doing these things. And I'll come up and get a breather for every once in a while. I'm thinking, all right, like what responsibilities have I neglected during this sprint?
Yep.
And then I try to do my best to give those responsibilities some time.
Right.
But I by no means want to live my days and my life thinking I'm trying to maximize the day to have this ultimate balance.
Right.
Because I might die tomorrow.
Yeah.
I like the way that you were talking about balance earlier and the way that you approach it.
Yeah. I mean, I think you and I are very similar in that way. And the idea of balance has never made sense to me in the way that I've seen so many people discuss it, which is like, I think most people view balance as equal parts everything. It's like your balance, like your work is like you have this many hours of work and this many hours of family and this many hours of fitness. It's like, I don't know anyone who's fully balanced then. And like you were saying, you have these sprints, or earlier you used seasons, where you have seasons of this, seasons of that. That makes more sense to me, where it's like sometimes you're going to be more focused on this and other things will not necessarily fall by the wayside, but you just won't have as much time for that exact thing. Almost like conjugate periodization, right? Where it's like you really focus on one thing and maintain the rest.
Yeah.
And then focus on something else and maintain the rest. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was to the effect of out of work, friends, family, fitness, and sleep, out of those 5 things, you can only ever really focus on 3 at once. And in my experience, it's really only 2. Like I've never been able to really focus on 3 of them at one time, really 2 at most. And if I really want to go hard, it's just on one thing and everything else is more in maintenance mode. And sometimes, like for me, unfortunately, if there's something that's going to be in a deficit, it's basically always going to be sleep at this point in my life. And that might change in the future. But it's very difficult, and I think actually impossible and unrealistic to assume that you can have a fully balanced life at all time. And I also think that sometimes in order to achieve balance, you have to go through periods of unbalance. There have to be periods of time in which you are not balanced to then buy yourself the freedom or the ability, the intelligence, the strength within a relationship to then have balance. I don't think it's as simple as just like we just need to be balanced. Because if we look at the even just the regular work week, it's inherently unbalanced. Like so, you're already starting off unbalanced, and that's for the regular work week. Never mind someone who runs their own business, and I just don't think balance is real.
How do you approach sleep? Because that's also what my default is, always to put that at a deficit.
Yep.
Because I prioritize a lot of other things before that.
Yep.
And sleep it is valuable. It's super important.
Super valuable.
I'm not ever going to say like sleep is not important, but it's really hot right now.
Yes, dude, it's really big.
And everyone's talking about it. But what I've also found is that most people that are talking about it don't have kids.
Bro, that's so true. That is so, yep.
Or like running a really demanding business.
Yep.
So what's your thought process on sleep, knowing it's so important?
Well, here's
why is it a deficit?
Bro, it's so funny you say that because everyone's talking about how sleep is so important. But when I'm actually talking with real people and not just some mouthpiece on social media, like real people, I don't know anyone who's an adult who's actually being like, oh yeah, I consistently get amazing sleep all the time. Like, I don't know anyone, any of my clients, any of my members, any of my colleagues. I don't know anyone who's like, yep, I get amazing sleep all the time. I feel like it's a big topic right now. And then people in the comment section are like, yeah, sleep. If you're not sleeping, you're an idiot. And I'm like, you left that comment at 2 a.m. You're not fucking sleeping. You got your phone in your face at 2 a.m. So I know you're not doing it either. So you'd have to be an idiot to argue that sleep isn't important. But I think that people, when there's a hot topic, everyone jumps on the bandwagon, even if they're not following it. So for me, that is the first one to go. At least at this point in my life. And I don't say it to brag. It's not something to brag about, but it's not even always necessarily an active or conscious choice as much as it is, that's just how it plays out. It's the last thing in the day and I'm prioritizing everything else. And sometimes that everything else is watching TV with my wife. Sometimes that everything else is getting up early to go on a walk with my daughter. Like there could be any number of things, but for me right now, it's between 5 to 6 hours, and God willing, we're going to have a daughter in August, and it'll probably be less than that for a little bit. It's like, cool. Like it's not something that I'm stoked about, but I'm going to have to do it. So it is what it is, right? It's like, I don't even know other than, I mean, there are probably, if I really wanted to find ways to prioritize it more, I could, but I'd have to give something else up, and I'm not going to. So I'm not going to complain about it, but that's just the reality of the situation.
That's where I am too. Like 5 to 6 hours is what I'm getting most nights. Rarely more than 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's a reality, because the way I plan my days is I forward think and I backwards plan.
Yep.
And I know there's things I have to get done. I'm rarely throwing something on my calendar that I want to get done.
Mm-hmm.
It's always needs.
Yep.
And then wants. And in this phase of my life, there's no hobbies.
It's so
I was talking to someone the other day. They're like, yeah, I'm going on my 3rd week-long golf trip.
Oh, man.
And I looked over at Steph, and I was like, where the shit is this guy finding time to go on his 3rd week-long golf trip? I'm like, I know you got kids. Like, what the shit? So I forward think, I backwards plan, and there's a lot that I want to get done. And not even that I want to get done, I need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
And sleep is just, it falls where it falls.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is.
Dude, that's exactly right. And everyone has their own struggles and different things going on in their life. I think, your business is a behemoth. It's about like, I've got a handful of amazing employees. You've got like a city. You've got like a entire community of people. I've got a very small group of employees that I lose sleep over trying to take care of them. I don't know how you do it. You've got an empire is what you have. And it's insane to see. Like both times I've been here, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I know this is a fraction of it. So I think anyone who is a mother or a father who is concerned about, taking care of their kids and providing for them could probably understand what it might be like to, okay, well now I'm also taking care of not just these employees, but their families, and they're like, I'm providing for them, and if I'm going to lose sleep for my kids, I'm also going to lose sleep for my employees. It's how it works.
For sure.